In the making of Holy Fire, you said that you were inspired by voodoo. So can you tell me a bit about that? And are you bringing the voodoo tonight?
Yeah, we'll bring some form of voodoo tonight. I think we'll try. Yeah, like we just started using the word voodoo to describe things that we were hearing. I think we felt like some of the stuff we were writing felt like kind of swampy and humid, and it had a kind of stickiness to it. And some of the lyrical imagery was quite dark and based around kind of more occult practices. So it was sort of a byword that we'd use in the studio for being like, oh, can you make that sound more voodoo? Or it was like a code word. But so it's not like we actually went to Haiti or anything and like got chicken bones. But we did actually end up boiling and collecting a load of bones in London and using them as percussion to try and get more in the spirit of it. But they didn't actually sound that great. So we actually took them off the actual record.
Okay. What was the last film you saw where you were impressed with the score?
The score? I need to think about that for a second. I mean, probably like the best, the scores that stick out to me that I've heard recently in new films would be anything that Paul Thomas Anderson's been involved in. So obviously the Johnny Greenwood soundtracks for The Master I thought was pretty amazing. And again, There Will Be Blood. He's the only current filmmaker I can think of. I mean, the Wes Anderson film scores are cool in a kind of quirkier way. But in terms of like classical, a composer sitting in a room and writing for a film, the Johnny Greenwood stuff I think is the best that's been done. Clint Mansell as well, obviously all the Darren Aronofsky films. So like Requiem for a Dream and The Wrestler, and yeah, I like Clint Mansell's stuff a lot. Cool. And Moon as well, he did that.
Cool. In Black Gold, you say the future isn't what it used to be. Yeah. So what do you think the future of music is?
I think, I mean, it depends what do you mean by the future of music? It's quite a broad question.
Well, where do you think music is going?
Do you mean in terms of the business kind of stuff, or
no,
just musically?
Sound.
Oh, you mean in terms of sound? Well, I think it varies where you are. Definitely in the UK, one general trend I've noticed is things becoming far sparser. There's a minimalism that's got into all crevices of music. It feels like definitely in the UK there's a lot of really sparse dance music. The indie music is pretty sparse, like stuff like the XX. It's all understated. I think that's kind of like an aesthetic trend that's running through a lot of music. Like, that Lord track Royals is like, it's very sparse. Again, it's just vocal and beat. So I don't know if that's going to continue, but maybe there'll be like actually a reaction against that, where things will start to become much more maximal and like filled out, and which I think would be good. I think I like music that's really dense and rich. So and on a personal level, I find it very hard to restrain myself and do something sparse. Like I always want to fill in all of the sound. So I'm hoping maybe it'll go that way.
Is there a lyric you wish you'd written?
Yeah, there is. I just need to think just for a second. Yeah, actually there's some lyric. Yeah, there's a song by a pretty new group from Canada called Magical Clouds. They put out an album, I think it was last year, called Impersonator, and there's a song on that called Bugs Don't Buzz, and the lyrics to that whole song are beautiful, but there's a particular one called there's a particular couplet that's like to do with, it's like a kind of a love song, but it's creepy, and he's talking about like lying in the slime, and that will be like the roaches, and surfing on the waves of existence, and it's just like, it's really, really great song. I'm most excited about the music they're making at the moment out of anyone new.
Okay, cool. And then just for someone who's never heard your music, how would you describe it?
I'd probably describe it as sort of schizophrenic, heartfelt, passionate, alternative rock music with a sort of dance and African influence, and probably a taste for perversion as well in it.
Okay, you said African influence. Is there anyone from Africa who you've really been inspired by?
Yeah, there's tons of people. I was really into a lot of high life stuff from Nigeria. I like a lot of I like stuff like Kwela Spokes. I like Soweto music from Soweto. I've got like a compilation cassette my mum gave me. Stuff like Jaluka, Ladysmith, Black Mambazo. I like Ethiopian jazz as well, like Mulata, Stat K. I think it's a good continent for music. It's probably the best continent for music.